From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Canada's Prime Minister says it's high time to build things that Canadians have never imagined. Mark Carney and Canada's premiers met yesterday and have agreed to find more efficient ways to move energy and critical minerals across the country, as well as improving digital connectivity.
The agreement is to turn what has been a concept into a reality that will diversify and strengthen our economy.
The PM and the premiers are looking to build a framework for growth in response to the tariff crisis triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump. And speaking of Trump, the American president has begun to crow that he totally changed the direction of the upcoming federal election here in Canada. Speaking to the media in the Oval Office, Trump suggested that Tory leader Pierre Poilievre was leading in the polls until he got involved. He also says he doesn't really care who wins.
I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
Trump also kept up on his near-daily attacks yesterday on Canada, repeating that the country should be the 51st state and that the U.S. keeps Canada afloat. Out to the East Coast now, where residents of the Halifax region will now have an online tool that alerts users to daily burn restrictions during the summer months. The Before You Burn app provides up-to-date information on whether burning is allowed in your region. The tool is specific to each civic address. There's also a fire risk index. Parts of the province were torched in 2023 by out-of-control wildfires, which cost millions of dollars in damage. Now over to Alberta, where a union representing school support staff in the province says the last remaining group of striking workers has voted to accept a deal and are set to return to work on Monday. The Canadian Union of Public Employees says workers in the Foothills School Division voted 68% in favor of an agreement. It says this marks the end of the largest strike in CUPE Alberta's history. Onto the international stage now, foreign ministers from Japan, China, and South Korea have all reaffirmed the importance of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The group of nations are also trying to find common grounds in areas like aging, low birth rates, natural disasters, and cultural exchange at a meeting that has taken place at a time of growing tensions. At a joint news conference after the talks, the trio of ministers agreed on the need to promote mutual understanding and tackle shared, multi-generational concerns to gain wider support for trilateral cooperation. And finally, a heavyweight champion who won his first belt when he was in his 20s has died. A full 20 years later, George Foreman won the championship bout again, becoming the oldest man to do so. Then he turned into a successful businessman, selling his famous grills on infomercials and in stores. Foreman was 76. A cause of death was not given. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, only one contest in the NHL where Sidney Crosby scored his 25th goal of the season as the Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-3. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers will be down two superstars when they host the Seattle Kraken. Coach Chris Knobloch says Captain Connor McDavid will be out for at least a week after sustaining a lower body injury in a contest against Winnipeg. Knobloch also says leading scorer Leon Draisaitl was hurt Monday against Utah and faces a similar timeline. Over to the NBA now, where Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 30 points as the Oklahoma City Thunder won their fifth in a row, 141-106 over the Charlotte Hornets. The Phoenix Suns defeated the suddenly struggling Cleveland Cavaliers 123-112, and the Houston Rockets beat the Miami Heat 102-98. Former Raptor Fred VanVleet shot 13 for 17 from the field and was 9 for 11 on three-pointers. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.